Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Raider Arena here in Niceville, Florida, home of this evening's doubleheader. Men's and women's basketball coming your way. Northwest Florida State College takes on Gulf Coast State College out of Panama City. The Raiders and the Commodores set to do battle, and we got ourselves a matchup here. Jeff McDonald, as the #1 Northwest Florida State College Raiders, one of only 5 undefeated teams in NJCAA basketball, host the #7 nationally ranked Gulf Coast State Commodores. Some stats you found out before the game. We got ourselves a basketball contest this evening.
No, absolutely. Once again, you see just the dominance of the ladies of the Panhandle Conference right there, always near the top of the NJCAA rankings.
We have talked about this team, and you see right there on the back of the shirt, toughness. That is absolutely a word that you could use to describe this Raiders women's basketball team. This is a team that has fought through some adversity in the home games, certainly have also gone on the road and come through some tough contests. One of the things that I love about this basketball team, Jeff, they frequently find themselves in a battle. Everybody's trying to knock off the Queens on top of the rankings, but this team always puts their nose to the grindstone late in basketball games, and a very emotional team that does wear its heart on its sleeve in the open, but they know how to put their nose down and go to work.
Yeah, they're doing a great job starting off hot in the beginning of ball games through near the end of the first half. But then you see, we typically been seeing them have a little bit of a lull near the end of the first half, beginning of the second half. And really would be nice tonight to see them put together 2 strong halves. And, if you look down the schedule, Rob, you see, like you mentioned, some adversity. Most of the games, you don't see a huge point difference there, other than maybe the last game on the 23rd against Pensacola. Pulled that one out 69-57. Other than that, most of the games are winning by less than 10 points.
Absolutely, and we've seen the last couple of home games that you and I have worked together, leads of upwards of 12 points that have dwindled down to be 2 3-point leads sometime in the at the beginning of the second half. And I'm 100% on board with you there. I think this evening you've got to, if you're the Lady Raiders, find a way to not let that lead slip away and not lose that momentum. It is time for tip here at Raider Arena, and we are underway. The tip won by Gulf Coast State College, and there's their point guard, Nakia Kinsey, a 5'7" sophomore from Abbeville, Alabama. It's passed over to number 3, Brittany Davis from Manchester, Georgia, and she's fouled on the shot attempt. Defense, the name of the game for the team on the floor in gray this evening. Northwest Florida State, the last couple of games, have done a very good job of keeping the field goal percentage of teams in this house very low. They'll look to do the same, but they do get in foul trouble frequently. We've seen that a couple of times as well. So that foul just 8 seconds into the basketball game is going to give Gulf Coast the lead to start the match.
Yeah, well, we're getting in some trouble. We've been fortunate, some of the other squads that we played, they're not shooting a high percentage from the free throw line, and hopefully tonight we can keep them off the line, but if they do make it there, they're not hitting at a high percentage.
Now Merton's over to Georgia Gale, looking to the inside. There's Awatrasi on the flip side. Look at the spin move and blocked. Good block there, good defense backside from Alexis Dye. She realized that Trussie was there, and that's one of those times, and Jeff, you and I have talked about Awatrasi's game. She very frequently makes an extra move in the post, and it's one of the things that I think she needs to work on. When you get the ball, go up strong. You're bigger than most of the girls down there, but she likes to look to take that drop step, and in a spot like that, she really didn't need to.
Well, she's got a lot of moves in her little repertoire there, but I think you're right. Just maybe one drop step and up, or maybe minimize the motion when she has the ball in her hands.
Scoop layup from Shania Mertens, the 5'8" sophomore guard from Winter Springs, Florida. She found a spot in the lane and beats the shot clock with that scoop layup, and the Raiders squared up at a deuce apiece. Jaden McCoy getting big on the defensive side on the inside. Good hustle defense to sprint across the lane. There's a dribble drive and knocked out of the hands of number 44, Stu Gay. She's from Paris, France, yet another international, and most of the rosters here in the Panhandle Conference, as we've talked about almost every game, have an international flair. Stu Gray from Paris, France. You've got Manchester, Georgia. You've got Sable Lasouth, France on that roster as well. Long 3 ball is no good from Georgia Gale, and she goes down hard with a little glare to the official there, Jeff McDonald. She was not happy, thought she got caught on the wrist.
She just stared a hole right through her. Rob, one of the things I love when we're calling these games and I look down these rosters and I see some local talent. Looks like Renisha Payton from Fort Walton Beach is on the roster here for the Commodores.
5'6" freshman guard Renisha Payton played her basketball there for the Fort Walton Beach Vikings, I believe.
Yes.
We go back the other way. The pass over to Mertens is over her head, but she maintains control, regains possession. There's Leandra Etchie. Back to Mertens. Over to Trossi. Trossi looks inside and gets the runner. Good look, good pass, and good finish from Leandra Etchie.
That's what you love about these ladies, always moving without the ball, flashing to the basket, and great pass there, I believe, like you said, from Trossi.
Man-to-man defense being played here by the Raiders, and you'll see they'll give just a little room around the three-point line, content to let the basketball stay out there. Gulf Coast State College, not a great shooting team from the look of things in their warm-ups, at least not having a good day looking at these rims. So happy to contest the three, but of course, as soon as I open my mouth, that big three gets knocked down by a Stu Gay with the tray.
Yeah, it looks like our other defender got caught down there below the free throw line and couldn't get back out to defend the shot.
Etchie over to Mertens to start this possession. Back inside to Jaden McCoy. McCoy trapped, looking for an outlet pass. And a 3-second violation called on Jaden McCoy. The combo inside of Trossi and McCoy can be a dynamic duo, but both of them need to kind of calm down. We're getting a little out of control early underneath the rim. Yeah,
not to mention, though, Rob, these young ladies from Gulf Coast State College is probably one of the bigger teams we faced. Number 44, Astyle Gay, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And then also number 42, they got a pretty big presence down low.
Good inside pass to number 12, Alexis Dye. She gets the one-step drop on McCoy and able to get up for the rack. And that's the kind of move you hope to see out of Iowa. Trossi underneath. Up to top, Georgia Gale fakes out the three-point shot over to McCoy for the short-range jumper. She drops it. There's a deuce for Jaden McCoy.
There we go. And just watch, Iowa does such a great job there at the top of the key, setting those solid screens.
Whistle stops play on the other side right before an unloaded three from about 4 feet behind the three-point line drop. So, again, they didn't look great in warm-ups from behind the three, but all string music so far for Gulf Coast, even though that one won't go on the scoreboard. 10-6 in favor of the Commodores.
Yeah, earlier we were just talking about how we get off the quick starts, and tonight looks like it's going the other way for us.
7-6 early as that pass from Mertens over to Etchie goes out of bounds. Just a little bit of a lack of communication there as Etchie was ready to drive to the inside and receive an inbounds pass, but Etchie thought she was going to step out behind the three-point line. And a lot of picks and switches here from this Commodore basketball team as that jumper is no good for number 32, Brittany Davis. We'll head back the other way, but look at the
great look.
Look at the quick drive there, and there's the inside bucket, the layup from Mertens, and now this team's starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we specialize in this transition game here with the Raiders, getting it up and down nice and quick and transition baskets.
Watch the way Gulf Coast moves the basketball on the outside. Lots of those quick passes, but they pass and then they cut. They pass and then they cut and set a ton of picks on the outside too, and that's one of the things you want to do against the man defense that has the intensity that this women's basketball team for Northwest Florida State College does. It's a long deuce drop there by Iowa Trossi just inside the three-point line, but all string music.
Yeah, she took one step and dribble and got within a range and knocked it down, Rob.
Drive to the basket underneath. No foul call. Blocked by a couple of Raiders. And then the second chancer from Alexis Dye is no good. And the Raiders get the rebound. Chance to try to cut into this three-point lead. And there's Trossi with that drop step. She loves to go to that move, but good play from Astyle Gay on that one. She knew Trossi's routine there and was able to step in front of the drop step. Three-pointer long, just off the back of the iron. Good effort there from Astyle Gay.
Yeah, great job by Georgia Gale. They're closing out, getting a hand in the face.
4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter here. Remember, women's basketball is 4 quarters. Men's just the 2 halves. Foul called against the Commodores. That one's going to be called up top against Alexis Dye. Got a hand check there, and we'll have our first substitution of the game. Cece Mayo will come in and replace Jaden McCoy, who takes a breather. Going to go with a smaller lineup here. Of course, CC Mayo has absolutely been a spark plug for this team the last few games.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something, Rob, I want you to look for. Watch Iowa Tracy during this game and the job she does setting screens. Anybody in this building or watching with us here on EmericoasTV.com, watch that. Just great fundamentals. You don't see good quality screens being set in the game anymore today. She's doing a fantastic job.
CC Mayo went up with the ball, lost control, lands in her own hands, and so a travel called as a turnover for the Raiders. That jumper is no good from the free throw line, but rebounded by Nadia Marshall for the Commodores. CC Mayo on that step-out man defense there. And there's that quick pass and cut, quick pass and cut. We got a whistle called. 3-second violation called underneath on Brittany Davis.
Yeah, got a little too comfortable down there in the lane, camped out.
We've seen that 3-second violation called a couple of times on Tracia McCoy on our end. It gets a little comfortable down there, and especially when you've got that man-to-man defense that the Raiders are running, where you've got all 4 players and just one in the post down low looking for that interior pass. Those 3-second violations can sneak up on you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to get down there and get lost.
Inside pass from Etchie to CC Mayo on the turnaround, quick shot.
Yeah, just loving the ball movement and the back screens, the flashing to the basket. These ladies are starting to get dialed in.
12-7 on the scoreboard. The Raiders now with the lead after stumbling out of the blocks early, but back on it. And look at the way the defense is getting played now, Jeff McDonald. All of a sudden, lots of switches up top. Is little running layup, running jumper there from Dominique Banks, a 6'5 sophomore from College Park, Georgia. And Tracy's going to have her hands full when she's on the floor. Yeah, that was a pretty little baby hook off the glass for sure. But yeah, you're right. Our girls doing a great job of getting the switches up top, and unfortunately just gave up a nice basket underneath. Mayo goes right at the interior, right at Dominique Banks, and goes over the 6'5 sophomore. Tough to do for CC Mayo. And look, now Mayo gets to play defense on a 6'5 interior player. That's an interesting matchup. And there's the pick we talked about for the setup on the outside three. It's no good, but off the hands there of Leandra Etchie. Commodores running a lot of those picks. They were initially running those picks up around the three-point line, but starting to see them kind of start to work the interior now as the long jumpers have gone away from the Commodores.
Yeah, I think right there our girls got a little confused on whether they were switching on that or trying to get her underneath that screen and stay with her man. I believe that was who was that, number 34 for us, CC Mayo.
Three-pointer is good. Back within 2 are the Commodores. Working the top is Etchie over to Zakharova. Skip past the Georgia Gale. Gale's going to bomb the three. No good. Can't get the friendly bounce. Knocked out of bounds. Last touched by, looks like, Jaden McCoy underneath.
Yeah, a little bit of standing around on that possession, Rob. I'm not quite sure what we were trying to do there, but typically you see us moving the ball and flashing to the basket, setting some nice back screens, but not on that possession.
Whistle called. Another turnover for the Commodores. We'll head back the other way. That's an offensive foul. Minute 56 in the first quarter. 14-12 Raiders over the Commodores. Leandra Etchie and CC Mayo bringing the ball up in the backcourt. Pass over to Mayo. Mayo to Gale. Gale thought about launching another three. Instead sets the pump fake. Back to Mayo, and that gets out of control. Picked off by the Commodores. Interior layup and one. It's good. Good hustle play there from Nakia Kinsey from Abbeville, Alabama. She got one-on-one with CC Mayo. Threw the little pump fake up before the layup, and Mayo gets called for her first foul of the afternoon.
Yeah, it looked like just a lazy pass there by Miss Gale. But then you also kind of saw a little lapse of judgment there again by CC Mayo, where she should have just went after the ball. Instead, she just kind of backed off and let one of the Commodores get it and take it to the hole for two.
Mayo over to Zakharova. She resets back to Mayo. Looked like Mayo was going to go for the jumper and knocked out of her hands by Dominique Banks. Goes to the floor, and Banks and McCoy will tie up. And there's going to be an interesting matchup there between Jaden McCoy for the Northwest Florida State College Raiders and the 6'5 Dominique Banks for the Commodores. Jump ball arrow points towards the Raiders. So they'll inbounds after the jump ball. Pass over to Etchie to Gale. Gale's going to set it back up at the top. Looks inside for Trossi against Banks. Trossi with that spin move again. Wow. It goes up and around Dominique Banks. If you can't get over, go right.
You know, sometimes we get on her a little bit for making a few too many moves, but right there, that was beautiful. Just a little underneath finger roll into the basket.
And there's a pick from Trossi. Trossi's going to get her and Zakharova. And there's that spin move again. This time she's going to be fouled hard underneath. That foul is going to be on a Stal Gay. No, it's going to be an offensive foul called against Awa Trossi. Wow. Fans not thrilled with that call. Not sure about it underneath.
I don't think they called her for a foul there. I think they called her for a travel maybe. Look at that, Chief. She's working hard there on the defensive end.
Lots of perimeter ball movement for the Commodores.
Yeah.
They're happy to take those threes if they open up, just like that. Airballed and short. McCoy able to get Banks out of the way. Rebound goes to the floor, and Trossi comes up with it.
Yeah, great job getting around and getting her body there between her man and the ball.
Etchie over to McCoy with 17 seconds on the clock, and the shot clock turned off. There's Zakharova. Underneath and around. She realized the defense was on her back, put the ball on the floor, went underneath the rack, and gets a deuce. Zakharova, of course, comes our way from Moscow, Russia. And she throws up the 7th, 8th quarter. Gonna come up just a little short there, but the first period in the books, and the Raiders up by 3. 4 points for CC Mayo so far. The shooting percentage good. 70% from the floor, Jeff McDonald, holding the Commodores to 25%. Those two numbers stay around that, you'll win a basketball game or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're incredibly efficient. That's fantastic. And not many fouls so far in this game. I think we got one foul. We don't see it up on the board right now, but we know that we do have at least one foul on the Raiders. But so far, a pretty clean game. At least there during the end of the first period, you saw our girls heat up a little bit, stepping ahead by 3.
3 turnovers in the first quarter for the Raiders. That's a good number. Last time we were at home, that number, I believe, was at 12 at the end of the first half. So to just have 3 early, if you can maintain that pace, that was one of the big weaknesses for the Lady Raiders in their last homestand, was the turnover number. Very high in the first half. It did come down in the second half, but a lot of turnovers early, not the case so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing these young ladies playing a little more patient, a little bit better as far as moving the ball and making some great screens, waiting for the open man, and playing some great defense right now, too. Really getting herself together there at the end of that first period.
There you see our statistics presented by EmeraldCoastTV.com. Our friend R.J. Murdoch here running the whole thing for 7 field goals, 70% from the floor. No three-pointers attempted so far, but that is because the Raiders have been insisting on work in the middle, which I like. You've created this pace where you're demanding the Commodores force that defense to the inside. Don't be surprised, however, if you don't see the Raiders start to effort a 3 here and there, the more compressed that defense for the Commodores becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go ahead and probably see a few of those here in this period. We do have some young ladies that can stroke it, especially Georgia Gale. And from time to time, you'll see CC Mayo get heated up behind that line, and even number 10, Shania Mertens at times.
Zakharova, another one of those three-pointers specialists. If she gets an opportunity to pass inside to Trossi, she'll bring it out and reset the offense. Over to Mertens. Mertens to Etchie for 3. Count it. It's good. Leandra Etchie from range.
Right on cue.
And there's that three-point effort we talked about, and here's that man defense from the Raiders. Once again, lots of picks to the inside there. You see Jaden McCoy, fighting through a pick to maintain that contact on the 6'5" Dominique Banks, who tries to go with the baby skyhook, but just a touch too strong. And the Raiders take over with a 6-point lead.
Yeah, and I do want to go ahead and recognize and thank Coach Zach Banks, one of our assistants, for getting with us before this game so that we can stop butchering Etchie, Trossi, and Zakharova's names.
There's Dominique Banks on the little running right-hander, and one of the threats that she presents is again, that inside game. She doesn't necessarily have a strong game putting the basketball on the ground, but if she's within 4 or 5 feet, just because of the length she has, she becomes a danger. And there's another turnover.
Yeah, we got to do it better.
Jumped in the way. Dominique Banks looked like she might have been able to save it, but
yeah, we got to do a better job with our passing right now. We're getting a little bit lazy. We need to do a better job creating some better passing lanes with either a dribble or some more movement on the offensive end off the ball.
Setting up the offense here will be Shania Mertens. Mertens off the pick by Trossi. She's going to launch a jumper, but gets front iron no good. Commodores back the other way behind Brittany Davis, who's going to take it to the rack, but she can't get the bounce to go. Ball's on the floor, and a foul called underneath. Coach Walker not thrilled about that call. Looked like off ball.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't on the ball, otherwise it would have been on Zakharova. I didn't see the foul there myself.
Call goes against Awa Tracy, her first of the evening.
That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, we know it's Trossi. I can hear a mom at home, a dad at home. They're yelling at us right now, but hey, we're going to get it right.
Long pass to Zakharova, and she's going to kick it out for the three-pointer. It's good. Shania Mertens with the tray.
Once again, we just called it, and here it is. These Lady Raiders are getting heated up behind the arc.
Pass inside, kicks it back out to the three-pointer line. That's Estelle Gay. Back to the point guard in charge at this point, number 24, Renisha Payton, Fort Walton Beach's own, the 5'6" sophomore. Three-point effort is no good, but pulled in underneath by Alexis Dye. She could not get the rebound put back, however.
Almost looked like a pass there. Maybe that's one of those back when I played, and I knew it wasn't going to hit anything. I just go ahead and give myself a hand. Good pass.
You airballed it, but you called it a pass. I understand. It's a good strategy.
Good pass.
So after the inbound, the Commodores reset the offense up top. And again, lots of those passes around the perimeter, and an offensive foul called there. That one's going to go against, I believe, number 42, Naomi Ambandu, out of Amiens, France, the 6'3" freshman. So again, we talked about it. A handful of the players for the Commodores are above that 6-foot mark. One of the lengthier teams the Lady Raiders have had to deal with.
Yeah, poor Essie. She got rocked on that screen. Fortunately, we get the foul.
Georgia Gale was looking for Trossi inside, but it was picked off, and here come the Commodores on the fast break. Long three-pointer effort is no good, long and off iron, but the rebound brought down by Brittany Davis. Another three-point effort. This one is off the glass and good. That's number 24, Renisha Payton.
Yeah, that's old Peanut Payton from Fort Walton Beach High School. I didn't hear her call glass, though, Rob.
It's another one of those strategies Jeff employed in his career. Back up top to Etchie. Etchie inside to Trossi, and there's the little jump step, but tough to get over the 6'5" Dominique Banks. Trossi there with the nice. She didn't go with the spin move, kind of threw up the pump fake, cleared some airspace there, but Banks was on her back hip and ready. Three turnovers in the entire first quarter, and through less than 4 minutes in the second quarter, already 4 for the Raiders. We mentioned that, and one of the things we've talked about in the last handful of games, Jeff McDonald, is that you can pretty much draw a direct line correlation between that turnover number and the lead that the Lady Raiders hang on to. It was up at 7 a few minutes ago. It's the 8th turnover now, so 5 in the second quarter, and the lead shrinks down to 4.
Yeah, we got an offensive foul called on us there by number 24, Jaden McCoy.
Ball stripped away by Trossi, and she'll reset the offense now as Jaden McCoy up to Georgia Gale. Gale's going to pull the ball back out, pick it up to Mertens. Mertens back to Gale, running almost that Phil Jackson triangle. There's up to Awa Tracy with the jumper. Can't get the roll, no good. And watch Trossi, and Naomi Ambandu for the Commodores. Those two are getting very physical underneath, and that's going to be a matchup to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, this is certainly probably the greatest challenge we've faced inside the paint. The size, the length that you have here with the Commodores is certainly a challenge for Trossi. and also for Jaden McCoy. We're used to them kind of dominating the paint. Tonight, that might not be the case.
Shania Mertens was looking for the fast break on the backside, but the Commodores recognized it, shut down the passing lane, so Etchie pulls it back out. There it is over to Etchie. Another opportunity at three. This one just too long, and we'll come back the other way with the blue team.
Yeah, you'll notice Etchie kind of gets, sometimes when she has a little too much time, kind of gets that thing up over the shoulder, and instead of getting some air underneath it, maybe throws it a little bit more like a dart. We got to get that thing up, get some air underneath it.
Banks puts the ball on the ground, and it gets knocked out of her hands by Jaden McCoy. We mentioned that. If Banks goes to the ground, she's susceptible to getting picked off there, and McCoy recognized that, and it's a jump ball after the flopping scrum on the ground.
You got to love the hustle, though.
Commodores run the inbounds play, and we'll set up around the three-point line again. 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Commodores, and there's the jumper from the free throw line extended, no good for Mbandu. CC Mayo is going to bring the ball up the floor. Goes with the left hand and blocked, knocked out of the way by number 34, Savannah Slade out of Freeport, Florida.
Yeah, really, I believe the best thing we can do against these Commodores, Rob, is try to get it more into a transition game. When we go against them in a half-court set and we're trying to work it inside, it's going to be a struggle.
Banks gets the rebound and just the running layup, and 3 players on the floor right now for the Gulf Coast Commodores, all over 6'3". So we're talking about a very tall lineup the Commodores have employed here. So a substitution from Coach Walker as Awatrasi is going to make her way back onto the floor to complement Georgia Gale and Jaden McCoy. There's McCoy over to Gale. Gale's going to drive inside, pull up with a jumper, and string music. It's good. Lead back to 4.
Yeah, great little two-man game. Good little handoff there from Jaden McCoy, and sweet little pull up there from Miss Gale.
Slade, that was a great shot. Good looking, just could not get the strength there. Comes off the front of the iron and out. Inside to CC Mayo. Shania Mertens saw the lane and gets the bounce pass. Good hustle play there. There's the interior pass from Mertens and the finish from CC Mayo.
Absolutely. That's one way that you kind of neutralize the length and the height that you have here from the Commodores, is get them into a transition game off the missed buckets.
A little less ball movement here out of the Commodores. That jump shot is going to be just too long for Renisha Payton.
Yeah, Peanut's not wasting much time. She got in the game and she's launching them.
Long pass up to CC Mayo, and we've got a block on the other end. Jaden McCoy gets the rebound, and she's fouled by Dominique Banks underneath.
Yeah, when you get in there amongst those big, tall ladies like that, you got to give a good, strong pump fake. Try to get them in the air. When they're coming down, go up, draw a foul, maybe get a bucket at the same time.
Timeout on the floor as Jaden McCoy gets set to shoot a pair after getting fouled hard underneath. And we talked about the length of this Gulf Coast State Commodore basketball team, Jeff McDonald, but one of the other things I'm keeping an eye on, very physical team. We've seen a lot of pushing, a lot of pulling. We've seen a lot of physical play out of them. A little bit after the whistle here and there as well. They're not afraid to try to get to the heads of the Lady Raiders, and they're susceptible. We've talked about that, a very emotional basketball team. If you're Coach Walker, good time to start telling your Lady Raiders, do not let them get into your head and dictate this game.
Yeah, I would say so far we haven't seen that at all. They've stayed very well composed and just playing a great ball game so far. Man, you got to love this Niceville Eagle band here for the home games, keeping the home crowd pumped and loud, and maybe adding a little additional pressure on these Lady Commodores tonight.
You get the pep band in the building, and it does give Northwest Florida State College, a place that over the years has really developed itself into kind of a basketball bastion here in the Florida Panhandle, but gives it a little bit more of that college feel and gets the vibes in the arena up just a little bit.
And I know you noticed it earlier, but tonight we've got Mr. Dana Fusco back with us tonight. Here's our PA announcer. He's a longtime voice of the Northwest Florida State College Raiders. Good to see him here tonight, hearing that silky smooth voice.
3:16 on the game clock. Awatrossi is going to check in and replace Jaden McCoy, so they'll stick with the smaller, faster lineup, will Coach Walker's Raiders. McCoy set to shoot a couple of free throws. First one rims in and out, and the free throw line has been a place that the Raiders have gone on streaks, both hot and cold. Just the first free throw of the evening, however, for the Northwest Florida State College Raiders.
Yeah, I'm looking up there at the board, and we're 2 fouls apiece in this half. You don't see that very often. Good, clean ball game so far.
Jaden McCoy knocks down the back of that two-shot effort. 3:16 here in the first half of play, and here come the much taller Commodores, although they have switched the lineup now to a more shooting guard look. Savannah Slade there, the 6'3" freshman, is the tallest player on the floor now for the Commodores. She's got CeCe Mayo on her, and while Mayo's given up about 5 inches to Slade, she is a bulldog when she's playing defense, so keep an eye on that matchup.
Oh, good hustle, Etchie.
Andrew Etchie throws herself in front of the basketball and goes out of bounds with it. A good hustle play there will reset that Commodore offense. 2:47 in the half.
I'll tell you what, Rob Brown, if I'm ever going to war, I'm going to battle, and I've got one young lady to select from this Lady Raider squad all day. Give me number 2, Leandra Etchie.
Etchie has been a stalwart in that starting lineup this season for the Lady Raiders. Commodores reset the offense. There's Slade on a pick up top, and the long three won't go for Renisha Payton.
Yeah, they're getting some good looks up there, setting some good solid screens. Fortunately, for the Lady Raiders, they're just not falling.
Gale over to Mayo, Mayo over to Mertens. Mertens resets up top, looking for help. There's the pass over to Georgia Gale at the three-point line. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Inside to Mayo. Mayo's going to go up and under and one.
Nice. Beautiful little move there, a little jab step, taking it quick off the dribble. Nice little roll off the glass and the rim for 2.
Saw the replay there with CeCe Mayo, and again, we talked about the tenaciousness, but Mayo, real intelligence with the basketball when she gets into that interior. She knows where the defense is coming from and knows how to get around them. It's set up, not just looks like that at the basket, but she's had a few games where she becomes an assist machine, draws that defense in, works around them, and finds open players around the perimeter.
Yeah, absolutely. You pointed out on the back of some of these ladies' warm-up shirts, you saw toughness. Earlier I saw another one that said selfless, and that is absolutely a great identifier for these young ladies. They are selfless. They play well together and look for one another.
Trossi knocks 2 passes in a row away from the Commodores and creates the turnover, the 7th on the game that they've taken away from the Commodores. Etchie fakes the 3, looks inside, finds Mayo. Mayo working one-on-one. Spin move, and she is just absolutely swamped by Estelle Gay, the 6'2" sophomore from Paris, France.
Yeah, one of the problems you have when you get down there against someone that's a good bit larger than yourself is you got to keep that ball underneath your chin. You can't get it up above your head, and that's what happened with CeCe Mayo right there. Got to keep it low, close to the body.
Clear height advantage for the Commodores, even with their smaller lineup in. They've still always got a player on the floor who goes 6'2" or taller, and they love to double team as well. The jumper no good for Shania Mertens. We've seen that a lot. They will double team that basketball if it finds its way to within 6 feet of the basket, and it's created some problems for the Raiders.
Yeah, loving the defensive intensity we're seeing here from the Lady Raiders right now. Doing a great job closing out, getting through these picks.
Yep, lots of picks being set around the perimeter. Big block there from Leandra Etchie. Sends the ball into the first row of fans.
Get that mess out of here, baby. Miss Etchie ain't having none of it.
Realize the cut, and again, we talk about those picks and screens that are being set by the Commodores up top, and there's a interior pass. Good turnaround jumper from number 12, Alexis Dye. Can't get it to go, though. 45 seconds left on the game clock.
Yeah, if I'm looking up here at the stat sheet, I'm seeing Etchie, number 2 right now in the squad, actually tied for first for the squad in this half for rebounds with 6, tied with Tross. Every time I look up, she's snatching down another one.
Bounce pass to Mayo comes off of her hands, and the Commodores are going to bring it back on a fast break. Quick layup there is good for number 20, Nakia Kinsey.
Yeah, unfortunately there, we let her get a little too close to the basket before we tried to cut her off.
11 seconds on the game clock here in the first half. Shot clock turned off for Leandra Etchie. Kicks it over to the corner. Mertens to Georgia Gale. Gale for three. Ooh. Thought we were going to end the half on the big three-pointer, but Georgia Gale misses just shy. Wow, that was pretty close, to be honest. Good long-range shot there. But thought we might have ended on a high note. Alas, we do end with an 8-point lead. 32-24, the Raiders hang on to the first half lead. And Jeff McDonald, we've seen this story time and time again. The question's going to be, will they bring momentum out of the locker room in the second half and not let this lead slip away?
Yeah, this time a little bit different. I think we started off a little bit slower than we typically do, and kind of picked it up again near the end of the first quarter. Had kind of that same momentum going through the second quarter, and here we are with an 8-point lead. So hopefully we can start off strong in the third quarter like we typically do and kind of carry that momentum through to the end.
There you see the numbers right in front of you, 53.8% from the floor, but look at the opposite of that, 25.7% field goal percentage for the Commodores. You can't ask for a whole lot better than that. I think the difference has been so far, like we mentioned, the fact that there were 9 turnovers in the first half, 6 of them coming in the second quarter, and that's where the lead started to grow late, but for a while it was just a 2-point game.
Yeah, right now you're seeing our Lady Raiders doing a great job playing defense. It's not that Gulf Coast State's necessarily that cold. Our ladies are contributing on the defensive end, and they're creating tough shot attempts for Gulf Coast State.
We talked about the three-pointers coming out of the first quarter into the second. We saw 2 of them come real quick from Leandra Etchie and Shania Mertens, both knocked down a big 3. Kind of got away from them after that, though. The defense for the Commodores expanded back, went back to the interior. So what I do like about this is we've seen both styles of offense from the Raiders so far. They're not afraid to go right into the teeth of a much taller Commodore basketball team, but they're forcing that defense to expand a little bit and open up before they do.
Yeah, once you can start knocking down those three-point shots, you're going to see that defense not pack it in so tight, open up some better driving lanes to the basket, Rob, and you're going to see some more easy layups inside the paint. But I believe our strength is still, like you see, a 27% shooting percentage for Gulf Coast State. As long as we can continue playing this kind of defense, keep them in a transition game, because I believe we are a little more athletic than they are. They're bigger than we are. We're a little bit more athletic, a little bit quicker than they are. We can get down the floor and get some easy transition buckets. I think we'll seal this one up.
We'll take a real quick break. We'll come back here in just a couple of minutes, get you caught up with the stats from the first half and ready for jump of the second half. My name is Rob Brown, Jeff McDonald here on the color commentary, RJ Murdoch and the entire crew of Emerald Coast TV bringing you this production. Thanks for sticking with us, folks. Second half just a few minutes away for Northwest Florida State College women's basketball right here on Emerald Coast TV.
Yes, sir.
Design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few seconds away from the beginning of the third quarter. Rob Brown on play-by-play with you. Jeff McDonald here doing your color commentary as well, alongside RJ Murdoch running the whole show for you and the crew of Emerald Coast TV. A couple of numbers from the first half, Jeff McDonald, that are big to me. Look at the shooting percentage. 35 field goals attempted for the Commodores in the first half. Only 9 of them went through the bucket. 14 of 26 from the floor went the Raiders. That is the story of the ball game so far, even though this game was a little bit closer for some periods in the second quarter than we would have liked. At the end of the day, you shoot 14 of 26 and hold them to 9 of 35, you're going to win some basketball games.
Well, a lot of those shots are those deep shots you keep seeing the Commodores launch and not connect with. But then on top of that, all those shots are taken inside or being contested very well by the Lady Raiders.
One place we will look to work on in the second half, 10 offensive rebounds for the Gulf Coast State College Commodores. That is where they made their money. In fact, we saw a couple of times where they got 2 or 3 second chance opportunities on the same possession. So I'd look to see Jaden McCoy, Albatrossi, and the rest of the crew pound the glass for the rest of the game. That three-point effort is no good and rebounded by Shania Mertens.
Yeah, once again, like we just said, shooting a lot of these perimeter jumpers, and they're just not falling for the Lady Commodores.
Jaden McCoy with the ball up at the top of the key, over to Georgia Gale. Back to McCoy to reset the offense. Shania Mertens now. A little more. Oh, Georgia Gale with the range. No good off the back of the iron. I was going to say, saw a handful of picks on that possession, which is not something we really saw out of the offense in the first half. We'll see if that's going to be something Coach Walker put in. Three-point effort is good. Book it for a Still Gay. Long three and a timeout called by the Commodores. It's a quick timeout with less than a minute and a half off the clock to start the second half. Gay with a long three-point effort from the top of the key. You're not going to see many 6'2" 5 spots come out and launch that three, but there's a Still Gay from Paris, France.
Yeah, I believe we got a little confusion on the defensive end of the ball for the Lady Raiders. Not quite sure who was supposed to pick that one up, but you see Coach called a quick timeout. Let's discuss it. Let's get things back in order and get this lead bumped back up 8 to 10 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we mentioned those offensive rebounds in the first half for the Lady Commodores. We're going to see if they're going to switch the Lady Raiders to a bigger lineup. We do see both Trossi and McCoy out on the floor right now. Those are the 2 tallest players for the Northwest Florida State College Lady Raiders. So we'll see if there's going to be an emphasis placed on defending around the basket in terms of making sure there aren't a lot of second chance opportunities surrendered. Leandra Etchie, who has been in the ball game for its entirety so far. Again, those cut passes, couple of picks there as Etchie and Mertens working on their defenders. Pass inside to Trossi. She's going to look to turn around but can't do it, and the ball goes up in the air. Travel called.
Yeah, that's where we got to do a better job of coming back to the ball, giving her somewhere to, giving her somewhat of an outlet there, maybe dropping down to the corner. Gale kind of just standing around there on that possession.
Jaden McCoy picks the pass out of the air. It is a turnover. And then a whistle off the ball called. Looks like McCoy may have stepped out of bounds.
That's what it looks like.
So the Commodores bailed out by Jaden McCoy, who's had her left foot on the line. Got a whistle for a hold called there. That one's going to go against Albatrossi, 6'2" sophomore from Toulouse, France. Commodores looking to work the ball. There's a dribble drive. Layup is too strong, however, and McCoy ends up with the rebound. That was a Stu Gay again.
Yeah, just kind of story of the night for the Lady Commodores. Just can't knock it down.
They are not at a lack for field goal efforts this evening. They are at a lack of field goals made.
Absolutely.
Pass up top to McCoy, and this is the offense the Raiders have run the last couple of times through. Pulling Trossi and McCoy both out and allowing the guards. There she is, wide open. Good recognition from Jaden McCoy as Trossi, sneaks behind her man, gets inside, and gets the easy, undefended layup.
Yeah, great job there. You could just see the eye contact right away, and great drop there by
Estugue with the three-point effort is good. That's a pair of those for her to start this half, and the lead back down to just 4. And what the Lady Commodores are lacking in terms of making field goals, they are certainly making up for it in quantity. Pass inside to McCoy, dribbles off her foot, but saves. She's going to skip it out to Georgia Gale for 3. No good. Off the iron. Looked like it was good.
Yeah, those are going to start falling for her eventually because the shot looks good. Just need to knock one down.
Alexis Dye with the fast break transition layup. It's good. Lead now down to just 2, and a whistle off ball called underneath. And it's going to be an offensive foul call. That one is going to go against Awatrossi, her second foul of the afternoon. I was not looking that direction. I did not see a foul, but the referee underneath the basket says so, and we'll flip possession again.
And actually, Rob, I think they got us for a 3-second violation on that one. That was a pretty quick 3-second violation.
Yeah. That was my mistake. It was a 3-second violation, so no foul against Awatrossi.
Well, it kind of looked like they were caught because she was waving 3.
Jaden McCoy with a short-range jumper. Can't get it to go. And there's CC Mayo for the second chance shot. Just kind of tipped it back up, but could not get it to fall. So here come the Commodores again with the tied basketball game at 34 apiece. And Jeff McDonald, this is exactly what we talked about at the start of the game. This is when the Raiders have been susceptible to giving up a lead, and they are now one made field goal away from giving up the lead.
Yeah, this is...
Oh! Leandra coming out of nowhere to get the block. Jade McCoy with the rebound after the short iron three-point effort. And back in the hands of Leandra Etchie. Over to CC Mayo. Mayo back to Gale.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about this third period for the Lady Raiders. Always seems to be a little bit of a letdown before they get it together.
Defense shifted to almost a 1-3-1-1 zone. Pass underneath to Mayo. She's behind the basket. Out to McCoy. Over to Georgia Gale for another 3. Bucket. It's good. There's the Georgia Gale we expected to show up. The long 3 for the 5'11 sophomore from Yorkshire, Great Britain. And now the Raiders have the lead once again.
You know, sometimes, Rob, you sit in here watching a ball game and you see someone that's taking a lot of shots, and you may not really know in the game, you wonder if she just needs to quit shooting. When you watch Georgia Gale, you can see the shot coming off the fingertips. You can see the rotation. It's a good-looking shot. She's just barely off. Someone like that, when you're a shooter, you just got to keep shooting. Eventually, it's going to fall, and hopefully that'll continue to be the case for Georgia in this half.
Talked about those hot hands, and we see it every now and then. We'll see players go on a run, and Georgia Gale is absolutely a young lady who is very capable of getting one of those hot streaks, and confidence as a shooter can come and go when you start making or missing shots. And if Georgia Gale can knock down another 2-3 like that, she's going to end up feeling that confidence again, and that's when she becomes a danger. 3 of 9 from the three-point line are the Lady Raiders. 5 of 18 from deep are the Commodores, as they've squared this basketball game at 34, and before Georgia Gale's three-pointer gave them that 37-34 lead. 13 of 44 from the floor on the Commodores so far.
At least you see a little bit of an improvement this half. 4 of 9 for the Lady Commodores, jumping that percentage up to 44%. You still want to see that climb, but hey, our Lady Raiders have dropped down to 40% so far, 2 for 5. We didn't get a lot of shots up so far in this third quarter.
5:05 on the clock as the Commodores work the offense, trying to get back into this basketball game. They squared it up at 34 just minutes ago, and there's a turnover from Shania Mertens. Mertens looking up the court, decides not to go into the 2-on-1 battle, so pulls it back out, resets with Leandra Etchie.
Yeah, wise decision just to pull that one out. She had a huge height difference in front of her. Better just pull that out and get set up in your half-court offense.
Etchie working the screens from Awatrossi. Here's Mertens. She'll take advantage of it. She's going to scoop the right hand, but it won't go. There's Trossi with the putback. She can't get it to go. Another opportunity. Finishes on the third effort, did Awatrossi.
Strong. Not great for the shooting percentage, But, man, I love it. Working hard under the basket, knocking it down.
And there's a miscommunication for the Commodores as Nakia Kinsey thought she had Brittany Davis streaking back out to the three-point line for an open three. Instead, Kinsey was going to the inside, and that's another turnover, the 10th on the game for the Commodores.
Yeah, kind of sensing a little shift in momentum right now back to the Lady Raiders. And that's what this game is. It's just a game of momentum shifts and runs, and you can't keep it going for a whole ball game, but it's fun to just kind of watch the ebb and flow, and right now it's flowing in our direction.
Georgia Gale, Shania Merton, Cece Mayo, and there is a three-point effort from Shania Merton's won't go hustle there, and the ball's going to stay with the Raiders. It was a good hustle from Leandra Etchie, number 20 for the Commodores. Nakia Kinsey did not see Etchie until she streaked out of nowhere. She had to fight for the ball, and she knocks it out of bounds, so it'll stay with the gray team. Working the inbounds to CC Mayo, back to Etchie, who'll reset the offense. Etchie looking for the screen on that side, so Georgia Gale bails her out. Gale drives, back to Etchie. Etchie looking inside. Trossi thought about the three, skips it over to Georgia Gale. Inside to Mayo for the jumper. No good, in and out. Tough shot not to fall for CC Mayo.
Yeah, I think Coach wanted to see her take a dribble and one step to the basket and lay it up.
Inside pass into the rack and a block. Well, one referee called a block, but a charge underneath for the referee in charge. That was going to go against Alexis Dye. That's her second on the afternoon, and a good charge taken underneath the basket.
Absolutely, great job setting her feet, getting outside of that inner circle there, taking a great charge.
Jaden McCoy will re-enter the ball game for the Raiders, replaces Awa Trossi. On the floor right now, Mertens, McCoy, Gale, Mayo, and Etchie. Pass over to Gale, inside to Mayo, had the look there, but a good defensive play from Stu Gay, who picked off that pass midair. Inside interior pass looks good to Alexis Dye for another pair.
Yeah, you know, those air passes across the paint like that are always dangerous. Typically you want to see a bounce pass, or if anything else, just a lob pass to get it over the defense.
Dye has 6 points on the game. Gay has 9 for the Commodores. On the floor, your leader in points for the Raiders, CC Mayo with 9. That ball's tipped out of bounds by the Commodores, so it'll stay with the Lady Raiders.
Yeah, you can see this Commodore squad has stepped up their defensive intensity and making it tough for our Raiders to get to the basket and find some good looks.
Interior pass to McCoy. She goes up with the left-hander right over a Stu Gay and gets the layup.
Yeah, great job. She did a great job with her offhand, the right hand, kind of creating a little separation between her left hand and the ball to get it in over the much taller number 44.
Looking across at Awa Trossi on the bench. She's got her right pointer finger taped up there. I did not notice that earlier in the game, so I wonder if it may have gotten jammed or something. She checked out just a moment ago, replaced by Jaden McCoy, went to the bench and looks like it just got taped up, so we'll keep an eye on that for you, as the jumper is good for Alexis Dye to bring the Commodores back within 3.
Yeah, great job just catching that one, turning, facing up to the basket, taking a good-looking shot.
Mertens over to McCoy. McCoy to Mayo, back to McCoy, working the ball around the perimeter. And again, you'll see players pass and cut as they go on against this Commodore man-to-man defense. Inside pass to CC Mayo, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Mayo's going to have to throw something at the basket, gives it to Etchie, and Etchie did not see the shot clock, so the violation, she made the basket, but the shot clock had already rang.
Yeah, great defensive stand there by the Lady Commodores.
And just a second ago, again, Awa Tracy with that right finger. When she was clapping, Jeff, she was clapping with the back of her hand, clearly not wanting to contact that. Don't know if something just happened in the game. We'll see if we can find out during the next quarter break if we can get somebody from the statisticians table to tell us if there's an injury or not for Awa Tracy, or we'll just find out if she checks back into the game or not.
Yeah, she's trying hard not to put any pressure on that right hand.
1:10 left in the third quarter. Raiders with a 3-point lead. Etchie and Mertens in the backcourt. Mayo, McCoy, and Georgia Gale out as well. There's an inside pass to Jaden McCoy. Good look, good assist to CeCe Mayo to Jaden McCoy. Threw that little lob over the right shoulder. Looked like a Drew Brees pass right to the end zone.
You know, that's not an easy pass to make. She did a great job just getting it over the defender's outreach fingertips, leading her to the basket where she could make it easy layup.
Desperation three thrown up there by Brittany Davis, and the foul's going to be called against Leandra Etchie. She was straight up in the air, she contends to the official, but the near official says it's a foul. So to the free throw line for a trio of stripes are Brittany Davis.
You know, just watch Jaden McCoy down here on the offensive end. She does do a great job of getting herself open when she's sealing the defender on her back and calling for the ball. She just is an excellent post player for the Lady Raiders.
Davis' first free throw effort is good for the left-hander. Second one knocks it down as well. You're not getting a lot of efforts from the charity stripe tonight, Jeff McDonald, but so far, all jinx aside, the Commodores are perfect from the line.
They're making the most of these attempts, that's for sure.
All three are string music for Brittany Davis. 6 of 6 from the stripe of the Commodores. 2 of only 3 efforts good for the Raiders. CeCe Mayo, a couple of assists inside over the last couple of possessions, working the ball at the top of the key. Over to Etchie. Etchie inside to Zakharova. She's able to get the layup. Good cut from the backside for Zakharova, and the easy inside pass from Etchie's good.
Yeah, great look, great ball movement, way to flash to the basket.
15 seconds on the game clock, shot clock turned off. Long three-pointer, book it. It is good. Brittany Davis, who has found herself in a bit of rhythm to end the third quarter, knocks down a big three. And Jeff, we talked about going into this matchup. Our number one concern was the third quarter. It has been kryptonite for the Lady Raiders. It seems every game we've called so far, they've entered the third quarter with a lead and they've exited with either no lead or a much closer basketball game than we expected. Once again, the case is that lead cut down to just 1 by the Commodores, despite a really bad night in terms of shooting efficiency, 34% on the evening.
Yeah, I think you saw in this half, though, you know, they ended the first half shooting, what, 26, 27%. So you see in that climb, they actually had a much better third period there from the floor. So I think that certainly is making a big difference. Our ladies are playing good defense. The shots are just falling right now for the Lady Commodores.
Third quarter, like we mentioned, has been unkind to the Lady Raiders. 20 of 40 now from the floor. 16 of 47 from the floor are the Gulf Coast State College Commodores. 6 of 19 from the three-point line, and that's helped to keep them in this game. Just 3 of 11 from behind the arc for the Lady Raiders. 6 of 6 from the free throw line are the Commodores. 2 of only 3 efforts from the stripe for the Lady Raiders. In terms of rebounds, even ball game, 25 rebounds apiece, but 12 offensive rebounds for the Commodores. Now, in fairness, 10 of those came in the first half, just 2 in that third quarter. But that's where we stand right now, Jeff McDonald.
Yeah, well, like we just talked about, their shooting percentage jumped up so far in the second half. We're looking at 58.3% so far for them, and 3 for 5 from the three-point line. That's why you've seen them creep back into this game. And our Lady Raiders are shooting just 42.9% so far in this half. So we're opening the door for them to get this game, or to make it a game.
11 points from Brittany Davis. She leads your Commodores right now as CeCe Mayo fights underneath in his block, gets her second tip, though, and kicks it back out to reset the offense. Mertens inside to McCoy. McCoy off the glass, but it's just too strong. Fouled during the effort, however, and she'll head to the stripe for a couple.
Yeah, great look right there, finding a flash in Jaden McCoy.
7 players on the board for the Lady Raiders. You've got 5 points apiece for both Gale and Etchie, 8 for Trossi, 7 for Mertens and McCoy. CeCe Mayo has 9 and Zakharova has 4. There's another one for Jaden McCoy. Second free throw effort is off the iron, no good, rebounded by the Commodores, and we'll head back the other way. Lost control to Brittany Davis, but she's able to get it. And there's a pick by Leandra Etchie. Etchie's leading the offense. She's going to give it inside to McCoy. McCoy is fouled on the floor, was looking for Zakharova across on the three-point shot from the far corner, but Cece Mayo runs right into a waiting Commodore, but that foot was sliding, so the block called.
Yeah, you want to see Etchie go ahead and give that ball up a little bit sooner, because we have one of our Lady Raiders wide open here on the other side of the court, maybe, and for a better looking shot. So you got to give it up a little bit sooner than that.
Etchie up to Mertens to reset the offense off the inbound. Screen by Cece Mayo, and right through a pair of defenders goes Shania Mertens. And again, we talked about the physical nature of this basketball game underneath. That is true in the backcourt as well. We have seen the guards get into a couple of scrapes.
No, absolutely. And they're going in there amongst giants with these Lady Commodores all sitting about 6'3", 6'5".
Mertens went down hard, came up stretching her legs out after she bumped the floor. Here's Etchie with the right hand over a pair of defenders. She can't get the foul or the basket either. So we'll head back the other way. Good effort from Etchie. Spin move underneath by Alexis Dye, but she can't convert. Here comes Zakharova. Over to Etchie. Etchie resets the offense. She's got McCoy and Cece Mayo working down on the blocks. Mertens and Zakharova up top with her. Over to Mayo. Mayo down back to the corner. Mertens inside to McCoy. That's the pass we saw earlier. Jaden McCoy with the turn, but can't find any sunshine between her and the basket, so she'll give it back up. 4 seconds on the shot clock for Mertens. Mertens with a pull-up jumper. No good. It's off the glass. And back the other way.
Yeah, just great defense by the Lady Commodores. Really not much else you can say about that. I think our ladies are doing a good job moving the ball. Maybe want to start attacking the basket a little bit more.
46-44, 8:20 left to go here in the ball game. Etchie setting up the offense, calling for that motion offense. We've seen this a few times. This is what you'll see, the inside clear out, and a lot of players running around the perimeter like that. Zakharova, but she can't get it to go. Anastasia Zakharova had a look at the layup, but was off balance, and the ball came off just too weak.
Yeah, got to knock that one down.
So Awatrasi will re-enter the ball game, replacing McCoy. We'll keep an eye on that right hand and see if it impacts her game any. They will need her to stay strong in the interior now, as we're starting to see some of the taller players for Gulf Coast State College try to work that interior against the Raider defense. And there's a steal. CC, the spark plug Mayo with the left-handed layup. Give her another pair.
Yeah, great defense. Way to read it and pick it off, take it down for the easy layup. We've definitely playing some good defense so far. We just got to do a better job of getting to the basket and knocking down some shots out of the half-court set.
CC Mayo with another hustle play, and the coaches for Northwest Florida State getting the fans on their feet. This is what you want to see. That third period was a bit of a, lack of better words, emotional letdown after the lead diminished all the way down to 0. But here come the Raiders again, that heartfelt play. They'll hustle all over the place, and even when things aren't going well, they'll never slow down. That three-point effort is up and just off to the right. Rebounded, though, by Gulf Coast State. They get another opportunity with a refreshed shot clock.
Yeah, that was just a friendly bounce for the Lady Commodores, able to pull that one down and kick it back out.
Interior pass, and a foul's going to be called underneath. That one's going to go against Shania Mertens for the hand check. Shania's second foul on the evening. Trossi also has a pair. Etchie and Mayo both have one. As that long shot is good for the Commodores.
Commodores are not going away. I believe we're going to see a tight one here to finish off this fourth quarter.
CC Mayo inside to Etchie. Etchie's got a smaller player on her back, decides to kick it back out. Mayo's going to take it over to Trossi. Trossi for the jumper, can't get the friendly run, and it's back into the hands of Ranisha Payton.
Yeah, you could tell there's just a little hesitancy there from Miss Trossi. There is an issue there with that right pointer finger, that index finger.
Three-pointer no good from the corner for the Commodores. Inside pass to Trossi, but she was not ready, and it hit her right in the forehead. And she's coming away from that one, rolling her eyes just a little bit. And the coast-to-coast effort from Renisha Payton is going to result in another foul. That one's going to be called against number 2. That's Leandra Etchie. That's going to be Etchie's second foul of the afternoon. And Renisha Payton, the 5'6" freshman guard from Fort Walton Beach, will head to the stripe.
Yeah, you could tell there's definitely an issue there on that hand with Miss Trossi, because even with that pass, typically, you know, there's a little stank on it, a little heat. She's typically pretty strong with those hands and pulling it down. So I believe that index finger is affecting her ability to catch and shoot the ball right now.
We'll keep an eye on that for the rest of the game as Payton knocks down both free throws. And once again, we got a tied basketball game between the number 1 and number 7 teams in the country.
Yeah, really not what we were hoping to have at this point in the ball game, but Commodores just won't go away.
Shania Mertens gets the little 7-footer to fall. Saw the replay there, and a 50-48 lead, just a pair of points on top of the Raiders with 5:55 showing on the game clock. Long jumper is good. Book it for Brittany Davis, who's having herself a basketball game tonight. That's 13 points for that young lady.
I'm going to tell you, she got such a pretty jump shot. Great set shot, great shot off the dribble. Really like her game.
There's Awa Tracy working the basketball. There's that spin move and the turnaround jumper. She got it. Awa Trossi with the knockdown. You know, you get caught in the emotion there, Jeff McDonald, but that's about the best offense we've seen out of Awa Trossi all night long. She got the ball. That time she realized that the spin move would work. She had the defender on her back. And then what I did like, Jeff, the step back jumper. She recognized off the spin move that the defender jumped back to the inside, so she hit that little step back, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, enough strength to still get that one up. Didn't see any ill effects from the index finger right there on that shot, though, that's for sure.
So Awa Trossi working hard underneath.
There he is, the man, the legend, the voice, Dana Fusco. You know, both of my kids have had him at Choctaw High School for, I believe it's AP World History. My son, Jake McDonald, 17-year-old junior, just wrapped up his class for the first semester, and I will tell you, he was a very happy young man to come out of it with a passing grade. But it's so good to have Dana here tonight. Handsome gentleman, isn't he?
You won't tell him that to his face.
Never.
5:25 showing on the game clock here with the Raiders hanging on to a 2-point lead. There's Renisha Payton leading the offense. Kicks it over to Brittany Davis, who is having herself a basketball game, 13 points tonight. There's the interior pass to Alexis Dye, and the Commodores convert there.
Peanut knocked down a 3.
Renisha Payton with the tray, and the Gulf Coast State College Commodores have a 1-point lead. Here's Jaden McCoy over to Mertens. Mertens to Etchie. Etchie's going to look inside. Nobody there. To a cutting Georgia Gale, and Gale is blocked, rejected by Astute Gay. Nearly a turnover there as Shania Mertens went airborne, but she caught a break on the other side. Brittany Davis did not see Mertens fly in, and it nicked her on the finger on the way out of bounds. So the Raiders get the basketball back.
Yeah, here we are, under 5 minutes to go in the fourth period. Big possession right here to get ourselves back in the lead.
Awa Tracy had to put some air underneath that basketball, and it goes airborne. No good, however, and here come the Commodores with a 1-point lead.
Rob Brown, I don't mean to laugh at you. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's going to take us a game or two to get these names right. It's not our fault. It's not our fault.
Awa Tracy with the drive, but she can't get it to go. That left hand is not working out this evening for the Lady Raiders. They have struggled when they go to the left side of the basket, and there's a block on the other side by Leandra Etchie.
Yeah, we got to have that one. If she's having a tough time with the offhand, I know you coming from the left side, you train them and you coach them to go with the left hand, but go ahead and go off with the right hand. These baskets are too valuable right now. You got to knock those down. We've missed a couple easy layups here in the second half. We can't afford to miss those.
Just a touch over 4 minutes left to go in this basketball game, and we have got ourselves a contest, a 1-point lead for Gulf Coast State College, and it's been, for the most part, back and forth. A couple of times we have seen the Lady Raiders grow a point lead up to about a dozen or so, but this time the Gulf Coast State College Commodores come roaring back with the momentum of their own. And now all of a sudden, Jeff McDonald, the big problem is suddenly it's the Raiders shots who have stopped falling for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to do a better job. And I think for us, again, it's you see the shots falling for the Lady Commodores. The issue there is that does not allow us to get into our transition offense. So we're struggling in a half-court set. You know, it's a lot like one of my favorite local ball teams here at high school level, Choctaw High School. When they get forced outside of that transition game and they have to play half court, they struggle. And that's the same with our Lady Raiders here tonight.
Quite a few transition points back in the first half, but they have been at a premium so far to start, through this second half. As of right now, 23 of 50 from the floor. We were talking earlier about the quantity of shots being taken as opposed to the quality of shots by Gulf Coast State College, but that's almost kind of flipped in the second half. 23 of 50 from the floor, however, 19 of 55 for the Commodores.
Yeah, absolutely, but the real story right now, Rob, is that so far for the second half, they're shooting 50%, so they're crushing what they were doing in the first half, and on top of that, 4 of 8 so far in this half from the three-point line. And you look down at Lady Raiders, 1 for 5 behind the arc.
Those field goal efficiencies have swapped so far in the second half. In the first half, the Commodores shot 25.7%, 50% in the second half. On the flip side, the Lady Raiders started at 53.8% in the first half as Jaden McCoy is going to foul Brittany Davis on her way to the rack, so she'll go to the stripe. That's number 12, Alexis Dye, who will go to the stripe for another couple. The Commodores perfect 8 of 8 there this evening.
Yeah, definitely don't want to send number 32 to the line, but number 12 isn't someone I want to send there either, although she did just miss the front end of the 1-on-1.
First miss from the free throw line so far this evening for the Lady Commodores. As they hang on to a 1-point lead, points are at a premium right now as the second one bounces in and is good. 2-point lead for the Commodores.
It'd be nice to get Georgia Gale going right now.
Comes Leandra Etchie. Gale, of course, had that big three earlier that gave the Lady Raiders a little bit of breathing room, but has been relatively quiet since then as the Commodores have switched back to that man-to-man defense. It's really taken away the ability to shoot those threes from the Lady Raiders. Interior pass to McCoy. McCoy out to Trossi. Trossi to Etchie. Etchie thought about throwing one up, decided better of it. Inside to Cece Mayo, but Mayo loses the handle. Still comes up with the ball. Shot clock goes off as Mayo is trying to just get up a prayer towards the glass. Yeah, and another turnover.
We got to do a better job of recognizing the shot clock, see where we are in the possession. And I would have liked to have seen Etchie go ahead and just shoot that long-distance three rather than get it forced in and turn it over there with the shot clock violation.
Just over 3 minutes left to go. We've got ourselves a basketball game here, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown, Jeff McDonald with you on the call from Raider Arena here in Niceville, Florida, as the Northwest Florida State College Raiders host the Gulf Coast State College Commodores, and that jumper is good from a Stu Gay, and the lead grows to 4 for the Commodores. It's their first lead of the night, but they are making the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, great shot, coming left, fading left, knocking it down.
Etchie working the ball around the top, back to Trossi.
Yeah,
over to Mertens.
We're really starting to see that length of the Lady Commodores hurt us on this defensive end.
And just as you say that, the ball tipped right over Jaden McCoy, and that's not a sentence we've said at all so far this year. Not many players able to get up into the air and play with Jaden McCoy, but a Stu Gay, the 6'2 sophomore, is one of them.
Yeah, we're creeping here at the 2-minute mark, and there's another bucket for the Lady Commodores.
Brittany Davis knocks down another one. That is 15 on the night for Brittany Davis. And the lead now to 6, biggest lead for the Commodores so far tonight. This is not a spot that the Lady Raiders are used to being in, down this close to the end of the basketball game. And I hate to say that you can tell, Jeff McDonald, because there's really not a lot of tempo, as another Eshe layup goes over the rack right in the face of a pair of defenders, so the Commodores with a chance to grow the lead even further. The tempo you would expect to see out of a team that needs to be fighting back just isn't there, Jeff, and I don't wonder if that's not because they really haven't experienced that. Another basket good for the Commodores for Brittany Davis. That's 17 for her.
Yeah, Brittany Davis is really just taking this game over here in the fourth quarter. We can't stop her, and we can't get any buckets on the offensive end of the ball. We're not taking good shots. We're getting it inside amongst those giants and trying to take a 5'9" young lady up against a 6'5" ball player. We're not doing anything where we stop and we try to get them in the air and maybe draw a foul. We're just taking it straight up amongst the giants. We can't do that. We got to look back outside, try to kick it out for some open shots. And we have some open opportunities behind the line, behind the arc. We're not taking them.
Shooting percentage, as we mentioned, has kind of flip-flopped itself. All of a sudden, shooting right around 40%. Both teams are now trending towards 40%. The Commodores up and the Lady Raiders down. And I can promise you that if the trend of the last 10 minutes continues, those numbers are going to flip-flop from where they were. As of right now, it seems that everything Brittany Davis and the Commodores throw at the racks find in the bottom of the string.
Yeah, man, I mean, just falling away from the basket, throwing it up with the left hand, falling in off the glass, or fading to the left, throwing it back up right, knocking it down. They just can't miss right now, and we can't knock it down. Now, credit the Lady Commodores. They've made it very hard for us on this defensive end.
They are defending the inside, and that's where most of the points have come for the Lady Raiders tonight. So you're seeing them happy to let the Lady Raiders waste time by moving the ball around the perimeter, but with that man defense, they are making sure there are no easy buckets as Awatrasi goes up and under, and she's fouled on the way to the basket. Can't get the left-handed leaner to go, but she'll get a chance to go to the stripe and earn a couple.
Yeah, if you're going to attack the basket, though, that's what you got to do. You got to get into the defender and draw the foul. Great job by Miss Trossi.
As we mentioned earlier, not a ton of free throw attempts so far for the Lady Raiders in this game, and Trossi misses the first. That is just the 6th free throw on the night. Lady Raiders 3 of 6 from the line after that miss from Awatrasi. Second is up and good. Substitution on the floor. In comes Gabriela Sales. It's her first action of the night, the 6-foot freshman from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah, it looks like
Sales.
Sorry about that, Rob. It looks like we're going to be making these defense-offense transitions here as far as substitutions are concerned, getting her in to play some strong defense.
Now we've got a discussion. Oh, home fans not happy. Neither is Coach Walker. We had one official call a 5-second inbound violation, but the back official comes running over and says that Ronnie Scoville, the head coach for Gulf Coast State, did get the timeout called before the 5-second violation. So what looked like it might be a turnover, which would be a critical turnover for the Gulf Coast State College Commodores, turns into a bailout by timeout from the backside official.
Yeah, we're certainly just looking down at this end and don't see the coach coming up to the other official calling the timeout. Unfortunate for the Lady Raiders. Great job defending the inbound. See if we can do it again.
Down 7, 1:08 left to play. If the result holds, this would be the first loss on the season for the Lady Raiders. Certainly would bump them down from number 1 overall. Still far from a disappointing spot. It would be the first loss. They're 5-0 in conference. They're 19-0 overall. As Jeff pointed out in the pregame, one of only 5 teams in the country. And there's the turnover from Eshe, who dives to the floor to get it to Mayo. Mayo over to Mertens, and Mertens misses the layup. Sales gets the rebound. There's Georgia Gale back inside to CeCe Mayo, and she gets the layup. 52 seconds left on the clock. The lead down to 5. The Raiders playing with a little tempo there. Needed that first layup, burned about another 10 seconds off the clock because of the miss. And as we mentioned earlier, those points at a premium inside, especially considering we've seen a handful of those short-range shots not fall.
Nah, they're coming back to haunt us right now. It would have been nice to get that first one knocked down, but at least there's great hustle to get the ball back and find another open Lady Raider under the basket. But we got 52.6 seconds left, 5-point game. We can still pull it off, Rob Brown.
To be honest with you, Jeff, I'm looking down the stat sheet right now, and there's really nothing that separates these teams other than the fact that most of the shots for Gulf Coast State College came earlier. You see the numbers on your screen there, 43.6% from the floor for the Raiders, 37.9%, but those numbers have really changed drastically from the first to the second half. At the end of the first half, the Lady Raiders were shooting about 50+%, and it was about 25% for the Commodores. Now all of a sudden we see those evening out, and the scoreboard has changed entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other difference you'll see is a lot of those shots getting knocked down by the Lady Commodores or three-pointers.
Points separate the Commodores from the Lady Raiders. We'll have the blue team inbounding here. Georgia Gale steps up to play defense. Tough man-to-man defense, and right at the top of the key is the open player. Andrea Esche doing all she can to get there, and a block called against Gabrielle Sales underneath, and that's going to send another Commodore to the line. They have been almost perfect, 9 of 10 from the stripe. And look who it is going to the line, Jeff McDonald. It is number 32, Brittany Davis, who's sitting all over 17 points and has been almost perfect in this fourth quarter. She absolutely cannot miss tonight. First free throw is up and good. It's a 6-point game. Awatrasi's going to check back in. She'll replace Gabriella Sales. Yeah, Brittany Davis definitely not the one you want to send to the line with the game getting close here to crunch time. Sales knocks down both, and it's a 7-point game. 48 seconds left to play. Another substitution on the floor. CeCe Mayo will head to the bench, replaced by Alasia Shearer, her first action of the night, and suspect that is in case the Lady Raiders need a foul given really quickly. Yeah, absolutely. A little offense, defense substitution there. 44 seconds on the clock as Mertens throws up the runner. Won't go. Rebound brought down by the Commodores, and a turnover caused. There's Mertens with the basketball, and a foul underneath for Manisha Payton. Caught on the hand check. So Mertens will head for the line for the bonus free throws. And at this point, you cannot afford to make a miss. Yeah, right now we're just not really taking great shots. We're getting to the basket, just throwing up prayers rather than taking quality shots. Just over 34 seconds left to go as the first free throw is no good from Shania Mertens. Lady Raiders 4 of 8 from the stripe this evening so far. Second free throw is good. All strings on that one. Another substitution checking in now for the Lady Raiders. Number 11, Ariel Wilson, the 6'6" freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Her first entrance this evening. Yeah, maybe trying to get that length in there to make it tougher on the Lady Commodores to inbound the basketball. We're going to need a quick turnover, quick shot, need to get a 3 down. The last handful of possessions have had almost point-blank range jumpers and layups for the Commodores. They have basically just taken what they've wanted on the offensive side of the glass. So no doubt Coach Walker is going to tell his girls this time, make sure that you defend. Do not give up anything easy. And if they're going to get close, foul them, make them earn it from the stripe instead.
Yeah, and if you're going to foul someone, stay away from number 32, Brittany Davis. Let's not put her on the line.
Perfect 4 for 4 from the line for her in the second half. She's got 19 points to her credit, along with 5 rebounds, 11 for Gay. (22 of 58 from the floor. The Commodores 24 of 56. And again, we talked about those numbers, Jeff McDonald. We were blown away by how many shots the Commodores took, but look at that. All of a sudden, those two numbers are almost identical.
Yeah, it's been a tough half for the Lady Raiders, shooting only 33% from the floor.
Brittany Davis, and you got to wonder, foul called underneath by Georgia Gale. She took that easy layup away from Brittany Davis, but almost a full 6 seconds came off the clock in the time that Brittany Davis dribbled all the way around the floor before Georgia Gale got to her.
Yeah, probably the last person on the floor that you want to get the ball, so you might want to double her and maybe look to foul one of these other young ladies. And just as I say that, she misses the front end of these 2 free throws, but I still don't want the ball in her hands, and I don't want to allow her to dribble around before we foul her.
29 seconds left on the clock as Anastasia Zakharova is going to check in. She'll replace Shania Mertens. Second free throw for Brittany Davis. She misses that one as well. Look at that, the rebound brought down by number 12, Alexis Dye, and Dye is going to be fouled underneath on a shooting foul. She'll head to the stripe. That foul's going to go against Ariel Wilson, who got beat underneath. That's not what you need right now.
Wow, that's just not doing your job. When that ball comes off the rim, you got to get your body on her. And really, that should have been a pinch there. It should have been 2 ladies blocking her out, keeping her from the rim.
First free throw is no good for Alexis Dye. Another substitution is Awatrasi is going to replace Leandra Etchie. I believe this is the first time Etchie's been out of the game so far this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we got 6 Raiders on the floor. A little confusion about who needs to check out of the game.
Ariel Wilson heads to the bench. Awatrasi is back on. Second free throw effort is no good, and it's off the feet of Alasia Shearer. So that is 3 consecutive times on that end of the floor that a mental error has cost the Lady Raiders, and this one's slipping away.
Yeah, and that's one of the risks you run at this stage in the game when you start making these substitutions where you've got someone who hasn't played much in the game and all of a sudden they're thrust into the action and they don't make great decisions, or maybe the hustle's not there, they're not quite warmed up, or they've gotten into the flow of the game.
On the floor right now for the Lady Raiders, Georgia Gale, Awatrasi. You've got Anastasia Zakharova, Shania Mertens. And Alasia Shearer as well. Second free throw is up and no good. So started very hot from the line, a perfect 8 from 8, but have missed the last 6 from the stripe. So the Commodores are giving the Lady Raiders a chance as Zakharova goes to the rack and gets an easy layup. 16 seconds left, and the Lady Raiders are down 4. No shot clock for the remainder of the game. So they're going to have to come out fouling quick and hope that this streak continues. We mentioned just a minute ago, 8 of 8 to start the game from the stripe, but now 11 of 18. So the door is being left open by the Commodores. To be honest, Jeff, the last couple of possessions have really just been mental errors by the Lady Raiders that have cost them.
Yeah, not blocking out or not securing the basketball on the missed free throw. Fortunately, the Lady Commodores are doing everything that we need them to do at the free throw line, and that's miss. And so right now, if the ball does get inbound, we want it to go to number 12, and let's foul her quick and send her back to the line, as she's missed, I believe, the last 4 free throws for the Lady Commodores.
So again, the door is open. It's a 4-point basketball game with 16 seconds left to go. Lady Raiders have yet to lose a game so far this season. 19-0 overall, 5-0 in the conference. And if they want to hang on to that #1 national ranking, they are going to have to find a way to close this game out. So what are you looking for here, Jeff? Good answer, Jeff.
Hey, sorry about that, my man. I'm sitting here and, you know, the wife sending me a text, had to look down and check it.
We all have priorities. You were just finding out what yours are.
Got to make sure I'm handling my business.
What do you want on this inbound? Are we looking for a quick foul?
Well, hopefully you want to see a quick turnover, do a great job of denying the inbound pass. But if we don't, yes, you got to foul immediately. 16 seconds left. We're still 4 points down. So if we can get a quick turnover and a 2, that would be beautiful. Don't necessarily need a 3 because we still need 2 possessions, of course. So let's just go to a quick 2 and then foul on the next one if we have to.
So Stu Gay will inbound, defended by C.C. Mayo. We've seen this a couple of times. Usually they'll run a pick and have somebody go towards the top of the key. There's the inbound, and it's a turnover. Lady Raiders have some room to breathe. The quick turnover. Good hustle defense from Shania Mertens. Close down on the Commodore inbound down the sideline and create the turnover. So the Raiders have a chance here with 16 seconds left. Another substitution. C.C. Mayo is going to head back to the bench. Elijah Shearer is going to come on.
Yeah, certainly best case scenario for us right there on that inbounds. Seems to be a little confusion though here with the Lady Raiders.
Mental error. Shearer thought Eshe was going to cut back away. She started running towards the basket and just thrown away. So a turnover gave them a little life, and then immediately, again, mental error gives it right back, and that's been the story of the last 3 minutes of this basketball game. It's just mental errors unforced by the Lady Raiders that have allowed the Commodores to keep that 4-point lead.
Well, you know, again, you look up and you see that, you know, we got 3 of our starters sitting over there on the bench in crunch time. You know, probably want to have C.C. Mayo in the ball game and at least Trossi in there as well. Just not sure why they're on the bench, not in the game right now.
Another free throw missed from the Commodore, excuse me. That is, of course, Renisha Payton from right down the road in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Second free throw effort is good. All strings on that one. 58-63. Eshe's going to have to throw one up quick. She drives to the rack and is fouled in the process. And an offensive foul called. I think that is the first charge we have seen taken all game long. The men's team sitting over in the corner watching their lady counterpoints, and all of them threw up the block sign at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. It looked like she was still shuffling her feet, was either leaning forward or backward on that one. Not so sure that was a great call.
There's the long pass up to Alexis Dye, who's going to kick it over to Payton, and Payton will run out the clock, and that is it. The Lady Raiders defeated for the first time this season. 5-1 in conference, 19-1 overall. Certainly nothing to be ashamed of. The number 17, I can do this. I'm still flabbergasted by that last couple of possessions. Number 7 team in the country comes into Raider Arena and gets the W as the Raider fans give the ladies a send-off, thanking them for a tough effort this evening. And we talked about it pregame, Jeff McDonald. We knew that that third quarter was going to be key. We said you cannot allow it to bleed over in the fourth quarter. That's exactly what happened. It was Gulf Coast State College, and a lot of credit to them. They kept their nose down and kept going to work. When the shots weren't falling, they kept coming. But a difficult game for the Lady Raiders to walk out of here with an L attached.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think, you know, some of the issues you saw for us there is they were just not in the game mentally, not making great decisions, taking bad shots. Just really, they worked us out of our game with their defense from the Lady Commodores. We couldn't get our transition buckets like we typically do. They kept us out of transition because they started knocking the shots down. So it's tough for us in a half-court set, especially with the length that the Lady Commodores have. It's tough for us to get to the basket and get those shots from the inside. And we weren't really doing a great job of shooting the ball from behind the arc tonight.
We talked about the field goal percentage in the first half versus the second half. In the first half, the Lady Commodores shot just over 25%. In the second half, 54%. Flip that around. First half, 53.8% from the floor for the Lady Raiders and just 35% in the second half. 7 of 22 from behind the arc, 3 of 11 for the Lady Raiders. Free throw line tells the story. Look at that, 20 efforts for the Lady Commodores, just 9 free throws in the whole game for the Lady Raiders, and they made 5 of those. On the rebound, 16 offensive rebounds for the Lady Commodores. They out-rebounded the Lady Raiders by 10. They also got 24 on the defensive side, just 7 offensive rebounds for the Lady Raiders, which you'd like to think was because they made so many more shots, but not really, not tonight.
Yeah, a lot of second efforts there for the Lady Commodores, but like you said, they didn't really knock those down. But in that second half, 4 of 8 from 3, 54.2% total from the floor. That's the difference. They stepped their game up in the second half, and we just didn't follow suit.
3 Lady Raiders in double digits for you tonight. 13 points out of Cece Mayo. She led all scorers for the Raiders. Awatrasi with 11 and 10 for Shania Mertens. No other Raiders in double digits this evening. Brittany Davis, your MVP, undoubtedly. 19 points in that game. She also had 7 turnovers taken away as well. So a heck of a game for Brittany Davis. You got an all-star performance out of her, and I would say she was easily the key to this game for the Commodores.
Yeah, Brittany Davis certainly was the key. Closed it out strong for them in the second half. Made some tough shots, knocked down free throws, and kind of sealed the deal for the Lady Commodores over the Raiders tonight.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're about 17 minutes away from tip-off for the men's contest between the Commodores and the Northwest Florida State College Raiders. My name is Rob Brown. He's Jeff McDonald. RJ Murdoch and the entire cast and crew of Emerald Coast TV are all here working hard for you to make sure we can bring you all of this Raider basketball action. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in just a minute, get you set for tip-off for the men's game. For Rob, I'm Jeff. For Jeff, I'm Rob. I can do this. We'll be back right after this on EmeraldCoastTV.com.